Have you ever felt this rage inside you, and you have no idea where it came from? You smile at people, but deep down, you're burning with jealousy, fear, and anger, and it's eating you alive. That's exactly what happened to Ethan Parker, a top executive in Chicago, until the day he exploded in front of his entire company and destroyed his career in 10 seconds flat. But what if I told you that this breakdown wasn't the end? That ancient Stoic wisdom, combined with Carl Jung's powerful psychology, helped him turn his darkest shame into unstoppable calm and strength? In this Stoic story, we're diving deep into the battle between your shadow and yourself, and why facing your hidden darkness is the key to true freedom. So if you've ever struggled with anger, envy, or self-sabotage, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see yourself forever. Take a breath, sit with me, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get started. It started small. There was Jenna, the bright, ambitious new hire, 5 years younger, already turning heads in the boardroom. Every time she got praise, every time she landed a big account, something inside Ethan clenched tighter. He smiled in meetings, but under the table, his fists balled up until his knuckles turned white. And in his head, a voice whispered, "You're losing. They've moved on without you." Jung called this the shadow, the part of us that holds all the things we refuse to admit, the jealousy we deny, the rage we suppress, the fear we pretend doesn't exist. And Ethan? He did exactly what Jung warned against. He pushed it all deeper, buried it under layers of forced politeness. "I'm not jealous, I just want fairness. I'm not angry, I'm just passionate." But Jung warned, what you resist persists. What you accept transforms. By resisting his shadow, Ethan was feeding it, and soon it would swallow him whole. At the company holiday party, Jenna let it slip that she'd been chosen to lead a major project, the very same one Ethan had secretly been gunning for. Something inside Ethan snapped. Right there in front of colleagues and executives, he exploded. "You stole that from me! Don't think I don't see what you're doing!" The room went dead silent. Jenna stood frozen, blindsided by the outburst. People looked away awkwardly. Some whispered. Ethan's career and reputation crumbled in real time. Later that night, alone in his hotel room, staring out at the cold lights of downtown Chicago, Ethan felt hollow, empty, destroyed. For the first time, he saw his real reflection, stripped of the masks, a man consumed by envy, rage, and fear. And in that dark hour, he remembered Jung's words. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The next morning, Ethan didn't go to work. He stayed home, closed the blinds, and sat at his kitchen table with a blank sheet of paper. And for the first time, he wrote it all down. "I'm jealous of Jenna. I'm afraid I'm becoming irrelevant. I feel like I'm not good enough." Each sentence felt like a dagger to the chest. Shame, pain, but also relief. Jung taught, your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. That day, Ethan didn't just look. He stared into the abyss. And then he turned to something he'd always brushed off before. Stoic philosophy. Epictetus had said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Suddenly it clicked. Jenna wasn't the enemy. His own unconscious emotions were. And to win, he'd have to face them, own them, and control them. For Scene 5, the internal battles begin. In the weeks that followed, Ethan started what Jung called shadow work, the process of bringing his hidden darkness into the light. Every morning he journaled, the negative feelings that bubbled up, the fears he usually ignored, the selfish urges he'd always denied, but this time he didn't flinch. He acknowledged them, without judgment, without shame. Jung had said, "The shadow is not evil, it just becomes dangerous when ignored." At the same time, Ethan leaned into Stoic practice. He separated what was in his control, his efforts, his character, from what wasn't, other people's success, his boss's decisions. Whenever anger or envy surged, he paused, breathed, and asked himself, "Is this within my power to change?" If the answer was no, he let it go. Day by day, he reclaimed pieces of himself, piece by painful piece. 3 months later, Ethan wasn't just back, he was stronger than ever. Not because he'd erased his dark emotions, but because he'd befriended them. He met with Jenna and, without excuses, apologized, not to clear his name, but to free himself from the chains of his own shadow. He volunteered for challenging projects, not to outshine others, but to grow. He started mentoring younger staff, including Jenna, a gesture that once would have felt impossible. Slowly, his colleagues stopped whispering about the outburst. Instead, they spoke of Ethan as steady, calm, and unexpectedly wise. Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." And Ethan had chosen to become whole. So here's the truth. Every one of us carries a shadow. Anger, jealousy, fear, lust. It's not just Ethan. It's not just you. It's everyone. The question isn't, how do I get rid of it? The question is, do I have the courage to face it and master it? Stoicism teaches us calm in the storm. Jung teaches us how to turn our darkness into light. When you combine the two, you don't just survive life's storms. You become the storm, calm, powerful, and finally free. If this story sparks something in you, a quiet fire, a moment of stillness, or the courage to take one step closer to who you really are, then you're in the right place. We're building a space for thinkers, dreamers, and doers, for those who seek depth in a world full of noise. If that sounds like you, hit the like button, drop a comment to share your thoughts or your own story. I'd love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe, because this is just the beginning. There's so much more to come. See you in the next one.